So what is up, guys? We're going to go over the reveals from last week and this week. I didn't want to go over 2 cards because it would have been a very short video, and we need a little bit more discussion so we can make the monetizing stuff. So without further ado, let's get started. So Brawler Big Bang Knuckle Buster. If this unit is Legion, so it's continuous, counterblast 1, put a Big Bang, his pre-evolution form, from your hand into your soul to draw a card, and that's actually an added effect, so they buff that part. And this unit gets 5,000 power and the following ability: fight 4 units at once for just a CB1 Persona soul, which is pretty good. I mean, we're going to talk more about that real quick. And Brawler Big Bang Slash Dragon. During your turn, if your Vanguard is Big Bang Knuckle, this unit gets plus 2,000 power, which is nice. When your Big Bang Knuckle Vanguard attack hits, this gains 3,000. So with that 4, technically 3,000 times 4, extra 12Ks. This unit goes up to 23K without a booster, so it hits over cross-ride numbers. And the fact that you are killing boosters, it's going to be a lot harder to hit your cross-riding Vanguard. Only the Legion will be able to hit it. The other units might not be able to, depending if they have their booster sales. But that's the whole point of Big Bang Brawlers, as we call them, the bras. They destroy back row, so your opponent can't boost. They can't do a lot of plays, but this is good, especially in a secret matchup. You pretty much punch the resist unit in the face, which is nice. So you get about 4 units at once. You choose the units you want to fight, so that's good to know. Resist can't block an attack; it only blocks effects. This is an effect. This just says you can battle 4 opponents' units at once, and that is solid. I like it. Obviously, you're running both the Big Bang Slash and the other one. Both one actually doesn't start off with 11K; it starts off at 9K. So add that to it becomes a 21K. So his pre-evolution form, Slash Buster's at pre-evolution form, which is the Legion for the pre-evolution form, pretty much is just the Legion evolved to be better. But you can still run both because they're both the same situation. Because they're Big Bang Knuckles. So that's how you know you're going to profit off those plays anyways. So again, you have units that are able to hit over defensive numbers. You're beating up intercepts, so you can hit 3 damage guarantee with Brawlers, and that is solid. This actually brings into question with this unit. I actually was discussing this, like, use the G3 searcher, that dragon. I mean, it takes up a spot, but it helps you search out a Persona soul, and then you can do the effect, and then you soul blast it with your Phoenix, and you do the effect, but you get to soul blast it with the Phoenix, and it's nice, but don't soul blast the freaking Legion, or you're not going to be at cross-ride numbers, and that can definitely hurt you, because cross-riding does magic, people. Depends on the matchup, but you can still soul blast 2 and draw pretty much a card after that, so you technically could draw 2. Technically, think about it this way: if you Persona Blast your unit into the soul, you draw the Phoenix, you play the Phoenix, you technically drew like 2 cards, but you technically drew a booster, and now the other card just has to be a G2 with Big Bang in its name, like these G2s, Slasher or Buster, and those units will go up in power because you did this effect. So again, very solid with Brawlers right now. So let's get into today's reveal, which is Jewel Knights, homies. I think they actually did buff Yvain. He Legions with Sword Me. During your turn, if your unit is Legion, so this is continuous. If you have 4 more Jewel Knights, you gain 5,000 power and a critical. Wow. Also, not bound by Legion effect. When placed, Soul Blast 1, CB1, to call Jewel Knight Sword Me from your deck. So you call G2 when you ride this. So you're taking out a lot of Sword Me's. At max, you're calling like getting all your Sword Me's out of your deck in general. So let's see what Sword Me does. When placed, counterblast 1, call grade 1. So with Jewel Knights, your field gets built really quick with Legion. It gets built fast and easy. Seriously. It's just, you're building boosters, you're doing this. Not really any retires, but the whole point is this unit gains a crit from the Legion for being a Legion. So in the end of the day, you're really just prepping your crit because all you need is 4, which is good. Interesting enough. Also, blowing Jewel Knight Altgaro. When this unit attack hits a Vanguard, if you have 4 more Jewel Knight rear guards, Soul Blast 1 to call a grade 1. There is so much deck thinning. The game is legit telling you, we're going to deck thin for you. Jewel Knights is legit deck thinning, so you don't draw any more G1s, and you draw into more of the Legion and G2s. Obviously, you can run Think Saver in this because we're not running Miranda anymore. Obviously, Miranda's gone. So we can go back to Ganslot. Then you can run Think Saver if you want. So there's going to be some secret plays, but there is a lot to deck thin with, and obviously calling boosters with ease is definitely situational, but keep in mind this says call grade 1 or less, and these are all Jewel Knight names, so you gotta be careful with that as well, depending on what double Legion you are running in the Seeker deck. But keep in mind, Seekers are Seekers, and this is just Jewel Knights. Jewel Knights have to kind of be their own thing, their own shtick. I mean, you can maybe run Blaster Blade Seeker. I don't know if he was name restricted though, because I don't play it yet, and he'll be out in America where I'll know he's playable in all types of decks. But I think Blaster Blade Seeker requires a Seeker name to, you know, retire. I assume that's what it was. As long as you have a Seeker Vanguard, you can retire. Something around those lines. But Altagero is pretty much that unit. If you have 4 more Jewel Knights, you Soul Blast 1. So if your field's practically almost full, say you got that last slot missing, you can Soul Blast 1 to call a G1. So you don't even have to waste CB to call the G1. So that's interesting. Again, easier to Legion as well, since they are Soul Blast units. You can legit play almost your entire hand with G1s and all that. Call out the G1s, deck finish, deck winning, get your PGs, so on and so forth. Awesome. Heat Wind Jewel Knight Cymbeline. When placed, if you have 4 more Jewel Knight rearguards, you can rest this unit to have one of your other Jewel Knight rearguards get 10,000 power until the end of the turn. So that is interesting, because this is legit saying you can hit a magic number if you call this. Obviously, you're going to want to try to call this during the battle phase, which is what some of these units actually do. This one can actually call during battle phase, and this can be called with pretty much Sword Me as well. So again, you can make a column. You can practically, the moral of the story is you can actually make a pretty big column with that in general. The other thing is you could actually, let's talk about Tracy here. Tracy would go up to 2200 without the need of this booster, so Tracy would already be at a magic number of 22. But obviously we can boost the other column that can hit up 2600, and if the play shows itself, you know where to go from there. So to see that Jewel Knights are kind of actually have some pretty decent plays here, good to see. I just know we're done with Miranda, which actually sucks, because obviously that engine's nice, but you can never beat out the Gantz package. So again, you're running Blaster Blade. Again, you're really not going to need Blaster Blade Seeker in this deck unless you're trying to do a Re-Legion play. But yeah, Jewel Knights doing Jewel Knight things is definitely the go-to forte for that. Calling out lots of your Sword Me's. Again, you're Legioning with 1, so that's 1 out. You call another one, that's 2 out of your deck, and then you're just calling a G1. I guess every time you Re-Legion, they're still in the deck, and the only way you're able to Re-Legion is every time they go into drop zone, and the only way to Soul Blast the Sword Me's is when you re-ride, and you attack with Altagero when this unit attack hits a Vanguard. So that's nice. But this one actually is a nice, I would say this card's really good for some teching purposes too, due to the fact it is 10,000 power. So you can make a 26k column, so you have really strong power beaters here. It just really depends on the end of the day, because keep in mind, this unit gains 5,000 in a critical just having 4 or more Jewel Knights. So you play it like Solemnite. You just need 4, and you can run the Jewel Knight package. Again, you can run the Gantz package because it's technically playing Solemnite, but as a Legion with a better effect. Because again, the reason why it's a better effect is when placed, you get a legit call a G2 Sword Bee and call a G1, so CB2 to do all this, and it's beautiful, and you're Soul Blasting 1. So again, you're building up drop zone, and you're getting everything together. So again, this card actually shows promise for being a triple rare, believe it or not. Crit pressure is really nice. The more crit pressure there is, the less time your opponent has to prep, and you keep smacking crit for crit for crit. You just have to keep surviving too with heal, 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 and Re-Legioning, Re-Legioning. Again, Sword Me is decent, good enough, but again, a lot of your CB pressure is going into... a lot of your CB pressure is going into your jewels, so Blaster Blade is going to have its ups and downs, but it depends on how you go about the play in general. Because technically, either way, you either do 3 damage when you play a Blaster Blade and your field is full of Jewel Knights, or you're doing it the other way and you're just going to swing for 2 damage anyways. So the moral of the story for Jewel Knights Legion in general is you're going to be able to always do pretty much about 2 damage, and maybe a push to 5 if it presents itself. That's when Blaster Blade's going to come in handy. If they don't heal on their 5th damage, Blaster Blade will help you end the game very shortly. So there is a positive with this, but again, that's why I'm thinking about Thing Saver Dragon. There's just so many things. I don't think the G2 lineups is tight for Jewel Knight Legion deck, but I think it just depends, really. You could possibly do Thing Saver if you wanted to. I just think the lineup for Jewels, it would be tight for it. just a little, but it would just depend, honestly, since this is called G2. Blaster Blade Seeker doing Blaster Blade Seeker things is another, like, story. I don't know if it is you need a Seeker to retire. If you don't, then obviously Blaster Blade Seeker is going to be amazing in this Jewel Knight build. That means it can work. I just don't remember if Blaster Blade Seeker was Seeker restricted, just like Liberator was Liberator restricted, but I'm pretty sure he is Seeker restricted. If not, then what the hell were they thinking? Because that's going to be really good in Jewels if you could push like that and do some damage. So again, up in the air. Alright guys, that's all the reveals we have for you today. But like I said, think about that G2, G3 searcher for Big Bang Knuckle Buster, because honestly, being able to search out the persona and CV1 to blow up a field doesn't seem too bad. And since you're running Phoenix, you're going to be able to Soul Blast anyway, so you're going to, not only that, you're going to draw pretty much two. One's going to be a booster and one random card, and you're doing some more magic. Obviously, that's pretty good. I always like decks that can hit magic numbers without the need of a trigger. That's what makes this deck so freaking good, in my opinion. It's good in my sense of, I don't need a trigger to smack face. Your triggers mean nothing. I'll be able to smack even if you hit a trigger and still kick your ass. That's the beauty of Big Bang Knuckle. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Y'all be good. Y'all stay safe. I'll see y'all another time.